Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is bouncing from this very important Fibonacci level of support as we're now seeing a major signal flash in the Bitcoin and crypto funding rates, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside Ethereum now confirming a new signal in the short term that we need to pay attention to, while the price of Solana is now retesting this important area of support, while the price of XRP is now bouncing from this important area of support in the shorter term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish trend, but like I've said recently, it's getting extremely close to flipping back into the red. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we already have a bearish crossover playing out in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, as I've been saying basically every day over the last 1 month. And so as I've been saying for around a month now, we're likely going to see either a pullback or at the very least just a bit of sideways price action chopping around sideways for the next few weeks or months. And of course, over the last 1 month, that has already played out very nicely and could continue to play out a little bit longer, especially with this weekly bearish divergence, which is technically still active on the Bitcoin price chart. And so this is also telling us we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum. Yes, we can see little short-term bounces here and there, but not really a lot of bullish momentum, basically following through with a larger bullish trend, like for example, like this, or like this, for example, with a massive bullish movement. We should not necessarily expect that, at least in the shorter term, within the next few days or weeks, for example, possibly within the next few months. And so obviously this has already been playing out very well over the last 1 to 2 months approximately, as I've been talking about once again, and will likely continue to play out at least for a little longer here. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, we're currently bouncing from this Fibonacci level of support, which is the 38.2% Fibonacci level of support, the second most important Fibonacci level behind the golden pocket. And that level is sitting at around 82,500, closer towards around 82.6K. And so for now, that is the short-term support to pay attention to, really in between around 82 to 83,000 acting as major support. And if we continue more of a bounce here, we could find some resistance at approximately 91 to 92,000, really at around 91,500. That's a very important level on the price chart based on previous support becoming new resistance. And honestly, when we're talking about the larger price structure here on the daily time frame, while the price of Bitcoin is sitting below, let's just say around 92K to 94K, give or take, essentially this major previous support just here, while the price is still below these levels, ultimately the price structure is not looking too good, as we can see. And so for the Bitcoin bulls out there, in order to expect much more bullish price action and a return up towards the all-time high, we need to at the very least see a confirmed breakout back above this key area of previous support, once again acting as a bit of resistance as of right now. And as for further support towards the downside, if we actually break below around 82,000, for example, with a daily candle close, in that case we still have significant support based on previous significant resistance sitting in between around 70,000 to 74,000. And as for some other resistance to pay attention to on this daily Bitcoin chart, once again we have that previous area of support currently acting as resistance sitting in between around 94,000 to 95.5K. So at around 94 to 95,000, give or take, that is major resistance in the shorter term. But if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I'm starting to take more of my trades over on 2bit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link below this video, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses, like for example, a brand new Mercedes-Benz or $50,000 in trading rewards, simply just by using that link to make your account and starting to trade on that account. But if you're not one of these larger traders here, you can also get some decent bonuses just by using that link, like for example, a $30 sign up bonus simply just by making your account using that link, and then you can get a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you make an account using that link, make a deposit of just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your new account. And on top of all of that, if you use the link below this video to 2bit, you are automatically upgraded to VIP level 1 trading feed, fees, which basically means you get a massive fee discount. You get lowered trading fees over on 2bit if you simply just use that link to make your account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is indeed a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit, there is also BTNX as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And by the way, using that link to BTNX, you can also claim some massive trading bonuses. And of course, BTNX is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and we can see as of right now, we still have a bit of liquidity sitting at just above 100,000, basically right around 100,000. But a lot of the liquidity as of right now is actually sitting below the price in between around 71,000 to 76,000, with most of the liquidity at around 72 to 74K. And now, of course, that does not mean the price is 100% guaranteed that the price is going to go there. But what it does mean is that it is still quite likely we could end up seeing the price basically take out that liquidity, because in case you're new to all of this, usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards where there's a lot of liquidity. So keep that in mind. But remember, we also cannot ignore other points of support, like for example, around 82,500 approximately currently acting as support, and also this major area of support further towards the downside. So of course the price can indeed bounce from either of these levels of support. And some potential good news to pay attention to today is the Bitcoin and crypto funding rates. As of right now, a lot of these funding rates, especially for a lot of these altcoins just here, but even for Bitcoin, quite a lot of these funding rates are currently turning negative and sitting below the neutral rate, which by the way, in case you're new to all of this, the neutral funding rate is 0.01%. And in case you're new to all of this, with a lot of these funding rates flipping negative, that basically means a lot of traders are interested in shorting these crypto assets. Basically, there's a high demand to short these crypto assets with the negative funding rates, to the point where people are willing to pay premiums to short these crypto assets. So essentially betting big against these crypto assets right here and paying extra fees to short. And so especially when we're talking about, say, Cardano, XRP, Solana, a lot of these funding rates across a lot of these exchanges are currently very negative, which is one of the main ingredients to a possible short squeeze. It does not guarantee a short squeeze will definitely happen, but basically the further the funding rates go negative, the more that increases the probability of a short squeeze happening. Because essentially, as funding rates go further and further into the negative territory, traders are having to pay more and more fees, usually every 8 hours, to basically the long positions. So the short positions I'm talking about are the ones paying the fees in the case of negative funding rates. And so if the prices are no longer really going far towards the downside, essentially the short positions will be losing a lot of money to trading fees, to funding fees actually here, which basically means short positions will become unsustainable to hold. And when shorts have to close, that actually adds buying pressure, which can cause a short squeeze. And so just be aware of this happening right now. This is a possible bullish signal that can lead to a potential short squeeze, possibly at some point in the next few days. Essentially, all we need is just a small catalyst, like for example, a little bit of a bounce, basically the price just no longer going towards the downside for a few days or so, which will start causing a bunch of short positions to close, which once again will add more buying pressure, possibly causing a short squeeze. We just need to see a bit of a break from the bearish price action first in order for those shorts to start closing. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, obviously the larger price structure for Ethereum is clearly not looking good, as I've been saying for at least over a week now, ever since we saw that previous break towards the downside below this ascending line of support, this multi-year line of support. That was the moment where the larger price structure, not the short term, but the longer term price structure, started flipping extremely bearish. And so of course, since much higher prices, I was already flipping bearish in the shorter term when we're talking about the short-term movements here, but the longer term as of right now is really not looking good for Ethereum, especially if the price actually confirms a break with, for example, a weekly candle close below around 2.1k. If that happens, that would likely drop the price down towards around 1,500 as the next significant support. But in the meantime, we do have this golden pocket area of support to pay attention to, which we're currently running into, sitting in between around 2150 to 2.2k. And like I've said recently here on the channel, really at around 2.1k, that's the final significant level of support, at least in the somewhat shorter term, before potentially much lower prices like 1,500. But before 1,500, we will also likely find some support at just underneath 1.9k at around 1870 to 1880 approximately. And obviously, when it comes to the short-term trend and momentum, we're clearly bearish, as I've been saying for a while now on the channel. We're forming lower highs and lower lows in the short term, breaking below support levels and rejecting from resistance levels, which is all bearish price structure. But of course, during a bearish trend, we can see the occasional bounce back to the upside and slight little relief here and there during a bearish trend. And we might end up seeing a slight little relief, a break from all of the bearish price action at some point within the next 1 or 2 days here, because we now technically have a bullish divergence on this 4-hour Ethereum chart, with lower lows confirmed in the price in the candle closes and higher lows technically now confirmed with just one confirmation in the 4-hour Ethereum RSI. And so this short-term bullish divergence, as usual, tells us we're most likely going to see either a slight bullish relief or just some choppy sideways price action as the most common outcomes, the most likely outcomes from a bullish divergence. And this bullish divergence, by the way, would invalidate if we see a breakdown confirm in the RSI, especially if the RSI confirms a new lower low. That would be a strong invalidation signal for this bullish divergence. But while the price technically now has one confirmation signal confirming this bullish divergence, technically this bullish divergence is confirmed, which means we might see a slight little relief, just a break from the bearish price action maybe over the next couple of days or so, but not necessarily the end of this bearish trend. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the weekly time frame, as of right now, just like Ethereum on the weekly time frame, Solana is not looking too good. We're breaking below a very important ascending line of support, which was sitting at just underneath 170, around 167 to 168. And so technically speaking, based on this breaking towards the downside from a massive rising wedge pattern, this is setting up a major bearish price target at approximately $90 per Solana. But as I always say, even if we have a bearish price target or a bullish price target for that matter, we cannot ignore other points of support and resistance. So of course, between the current price and that potential price target at $90, we have significant support, mainly at around 120 to 130 based on previous significant support. And we can see that's pretty much exactly where the price has recently bounced from as expected, because of course I've been talking about this major support at 120 to 130 since before all of these latest bounces just here. And if we're taking a look at this daily time frame, we are currently retesting this area of support sitting in between around 133 to 139. And we also have this short-term area of support in between around 123 to 125. And as for resistance, we should expect some resistance in between around 156 to 161 and major resistance in between around 178 to 183, which is pretty much exactly where the price rejected from, as we could see. And usually Solana, along with a lot of the top altcoins out there, follows similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. So of course, not the exact same price action, but if Bitcoin has a major bullish move or a major bearish move, expect something similar for Solana and a lot of the altcoin market. Or if Bitcoin just trades sideways, honestly, that will likely be relatively boring for the altcoin market as well. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the 3-day time frame, technically on this 3-day time frame, we still have this massive bearish divergence with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the 3-day XRP RSI. And so of course, this has already been playing out for quite some time now, and I have been talking about this bearish divergence on the daily time frame over the last 1 or 2 months, give or take. But I've also mentioned here on the channel that it's visible on larger time frames like the 3-day chart, for example, as we can clearly see. And at least here on the 3-day time frame, we've not actually confirmed an invalidation signal on this time frame for the bearish divergence, which means technically it can still play out, which means we should not necessarily expect a lot of bullish momentum. Yes, we can see the occasional bounce here in the short term, but not necessarily a bullish trend, a lot of follow through actually playing out. And if we're taking a look at this 8-hour XRP chart, we can see right now the price of XRP is currently bouncing from this important area of support, sitting in between around $2.25 to $2.30 based on previous significant support. But if we were to see a confirmed break below around $2.25, in that case it would likely drop down closer towards around $2 because the next major area of support is sitting in between around $1.95 to $2.05. And overall, in the somewhat shorter term, honestly, at the moment, the price of XRP is lacking momentum to either direction. So of course, with this larger bearish divergence on the 3-day time frame, we don't really have a lot of bullish momentum. But at least for now, with the price running into major support and bouncing from support, we're not really seeing a significant amount of bearish momentum just in the immediate short term here, which means honestly, it is quite likely the price will play out somewhat neutral price action, most likely just chopping around sideways for a little while. And especially due to the fact that the RSI has now reset back towards more neutral levels. Of course, previously we were playing out the short-term bullish divergence here, and then of course we ran into overbought territories just over the last couple of days, and now we've basically reset out of overbought territories with that pullback. And the last time we saw a reset out of overbought, over the next few days or so, we did see relatively neutral price action, not all that much. And now if the price of XRP continues this short-term bounce here from this area of support, in that case, I would expect a lot of resistance in between $2.65 to $2.80, and also more resistance at around $3. And we could also find some short-term resistance at approximately $2.50 based on previous support becoming new resistance. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, as of right now, the price of Chainlink is currently rejecting from this previous level of support, becoming new resistance, sitting in between around $17.50 to $18. And of course, I've been talking about that as a resistance since before this latest rejection. And so overall, the larger price structure continues to be bearish, as I've been saying for a long time now on the channel. On this daily Chainlink chart, we're simply forming lower highs and lower lows, breaking below key support and rejecting from resistance, which is all bearish price structure. And we've just now confirmed another daily candle close below this golden pocket area of support, which was sitting in between around $14.90 to $15.50. And the moment we confirmed that daily candle close below $14.90, we immediately just saw a quick drop down towards close to $13. And at least for now, we have found some support at around $13. So of course, as I've been saying recently on the channel, expect the next support to come into play at around $12.80 to $13. But if we see a break below that support, in that case, I'll be targeting around $10 if we first break below around $12.80 to $13. And as for resistance, we could now find resistance within this golden pocket, sitting in between $14.90 to $15.50. And remember, we still have a lot of resistance at around $17.50 to $18. But once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those extra bonuses that you can only claim using those links. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.